Emperor vs. MushnooruSuryaNarayanMurthy. A detailed analysis. Importance of the case. This case revolves around the death of an unintended victim and deals with the concept of transfer of malice. This case has significant implications for the legal interpretation of mens rea and the chain of causation in criminal law. It highlights how an act intended to harm one person can lead to criminal liability for unintended consequences. Facts of the case. The accused gave a poisoned halwa to Apla Narasimhulu with the intent to kill him. Apla Narasimhulu ate part of it and discarded the rest of the halwa. Rajlakshmi, who was just 8 years old and was the niece of the accused, picked up the discarded halwa and consumed it. She died because of the poison in the halwa. However, Apla Narasimhulu survived despite the poisoning. Legal issues. The primary legal issue in this case was whether the accused could be held responsible for the murder of Rajlakshmi under Indian Penal Code Section 302. The court had to interpret the Indian Penal Code Sections 299 that deals with culpable homicide, Section 300 that deals with murder, and Section 301 that deals with culpability for unintended death. The trial court convicted the accused for attempt to murder and sentenced him to 7 years of rigorous imprisonment. However, the accused was acquitted from the charge of murdering Rajlakshmi. The High Court. The accused appealed against the conviction to the High Court, and the High Court enhanced his punishment to transportation for life. The prosecution appealed to the High Court against the acquittal in the case of murder of Rajlakshmi. Justice Benson held that, under Section 299 of the Indian Penal Code that deals with culpable homicide, it is not necessary for the offender to intend to kill a specific person. It is sufficient if death is caused by the offender's actions. Justice Benson held that Section 301 of the Indian Penal Code states that if a person commits culpable homicide by causing the death of someone other than the intended victim, the homicide still amounts to murder if the act was done with the intention of causing death or with knowledge that death was likely. Justice Benson emphasized upon the concept of mens rea, criminal intent, and the chain of causation. He convicted the accused, reasoning that the intent to kill extended to Rajlakshmi's death due to the direct chain of events initiated by the accused's actions. Justice Iyer gave a dissenting opinion. He held that the accused cannot be held responsible for unforeseen deaths that result from the act if he had no knowledge or reason to believe that such an outcome was likely. The accused cannot be held guilty of the murder of Rajlakshmi because the accused had no knowledge or reason to believe that the poison would reach her, and he did not voluntarily cause her death. Justice Iyer observed that according to Section 39 of the Indian Penal Code, a person causes an effect voluntarily if he intended to cause it or knew it was likely to occur. Section 301 of the Indian Penal Code does not apply when both the intended and the unintended persons are affected, as in this case. Justice Iyer further held that the intervention of the Apla Narasimhulu in throwing away the halwa was a significant factor, and the accused cannot be held responsible for it as such an action was beyond his control or foresight. The accused should not be held liable for an unintended death, as it was not within the scope of his intention. Justice Rahim held that the act of the accused in giving the poisoned halwa to Narasimhulu was the starting point of the chain of events that eventually led to Rajlakshmi's death, thus establishing culpability. The idea that intervening acts, like Narasimhulu discarding the sweetmeat, absolved the accused of any responsibility was rejected by Justice Rahim, and he convicted the accused for the murder of Rajlakshmi and sentenced him to life imprisonment. Madras High Court's final verdict. The Madras High Court convicted the accused under IPC Section 302. The accused was sentenced to transportation for life under IPC Section 303.